Hey, I'm playing All About Soul by Billy Joel, straight from the charts of the Morristown Uke Jam. So take the link in the video description, download the free ukulele song sheet, and you can play along with me. And if you'll be anywhere near Morristown, New Jersey, come out and play with us. After the song, I'll do a basic tutorial together with a slow motion close-up play along that you might find helpful. Oh, and there are two versions of this song in the song sheet. Both are in the same key. You can play them both at the same time. That is to say, you can play either one along with me. The reason for the two versions, the one that I'm about to play is considerably more complex than the simpler version. That's the second one. If you're a beginner and you love the song and you watch me and you're like, oh, that's too hard, then go to the simpler one. Easier chords and less chord transitions, less chord changes, but same key. So you can play along with me or anybody else who's playing this version if you want in the simpler version. And I'll cover them both in the tutorial. Now here goes. She waits for me at night. She waits for me in silence. She gives me all her tenderness and takes away my pain. And so far she hasn't run, though I swear she's had her moments. She still believes in miracles while others cry in vain. It's all about soul. It's all about faith and a deeper devotion. It's all about soul. 'Cause under the love is a stronger emotion. You gotta be strong. 'Cause so many things getting out of control should drive her away. Why does she stay? It's all about soul. She turns to me sometimes and she asks me what I'm dreaming, and I realize I must have gone a million miles away. And I ask her how she knew to reach out for me at that moment, and she smiles because it's understood. There are no words to say. It's all about soul. It's all about knowing what someone's feeling. A woman's got soul. The power of love and the power of healing. This life isn't fair. It's gonna get dark. It's gonna get cold. You gotta get tough, but that ain't enough. It's all about soul. Na 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 na. It's all about soul. Na 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 na. Yes it is. Na 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 na. It's all about soul. Na 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 na. There are people who have lost every trace of human kindness. There are many who have fallen. There are some who still survive. And she comes to me at night, and she tells me her desires, and she gives me all the love I need to keep my faith alive. It's all about soul. It's all about joy that comes out of sorrow. It's all about soul. Who's standing now? Who's standing tomorrow? You got to be hard. As hard as the rock in that old rock and roll. But that's only part. You know in your heart, it's all about soul. Na 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 na. It's all about soul. Na 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 na. Yeah. Billy Joel is all about soul, isn't he? Awesome. Can't get enough of Billy. All right. Remember I said there are two versions of this. I'm going to go over them both. But first thing I'm going to do is go over the things that are in common. All right, I did a fairly similar strum through most of the song, and I would do the same in the easier version or the harder version, but I'll show you a couple different ways to do it. The exception being that interlude, that musical interlude follows a different path. And there are a couple other places, but mostly I did down, down, up, up, down, up. It looked a little different because I used my thumb. I got a big hunkin' thumbnail on my right hand, and it sounds nice. If I do this subtle thing, you hear the subtlety of it with my thumbnail. That's why I use my thumb in this. I don't usually play just like with my thumb, but this time it worked. And so I played, I think, the whole song with my thumb. You can do that. You don't have to. If you want to play with your hand, I would suggest that you play with a couple fingers most of the time, like this. Down, down, up, down, up, right? And then when you get to the interlude, you can use all your fingers. Na, 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 na. It's all about soul. You can switch from a couple fingers or one finger to all of them, and you'll add a fullness that wasn't there before. I can't really do that if I'm only using my thumb to start with, and I want to stay with my thumb. All right, what are the other significant parts? Okay, so most of it's down, down, up, down, up. You can use whatever fingers you like on your right hand, if you're right-handed, to do that, or if you're playing right-handed. The places I made an exception from that, there's a sort of a G-F in the chorus. There's a G that doesn't come at the start of the measure. It comes halfway through, so it's sort of a rush job. You only do a couple strums on it like this. It's all about the soul. It's all about, I was doing it wrong. It's all about soul. Right? You don't want to be pausing in the middle of that part. So at that part, I just kept strumming up and down. It's all about soul. Instead of going down, down, up, down. Right? It was down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I just kept playing throughout it so that you could hear clearly that chord transition in there. And then in the, apologize for the 2 pages too. I couldn't fit this on one page in a way that anybody could read it. So 2 pages on this one. But that interlude, and it is easier in the simpler version, but right now I'm just going to go over the strum. I called it lots of dampening, because instead of focusing on like where you actually play, just focus on it being a more sort of a punctuated sound. Dampening with your left hand, lifting up. Na, 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 na. It's all about soul. Right? It's nowhere near the down, down, up, down, up, but most of it is up strums with dampening in between. Up, 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 up. Up, 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 right? That's what most of it is. So, but again, it's not going to be wrong. If you keep time with your singing and everything, and you're changing the chords at the right time, it's okay if you don't pause exactly when I did. And you can just do down, up, down, down, up, down, up. If you want to stick that way, and I'll do the easier chords right now. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. It's all about soul. Na, 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 na. Yes, it is. All right, that was pretty much just down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And it still sounds pretty good. You can add a lot of panache if you do that dampening piece there. All right, now I'm going to focus on the differences between the complex. Well, actually, I'm going to show you the chord transitions, but I'll do them in each part, complex and simpler. So in the intro, the simpler intro is just A minor and B flat. That's it. It works, doesn't it? So why make it harder? Because it sounds cool, and this is closer to what Billy Joel did, what his band did. What I did, I got the same A minor, right? I'm using my middle finger for it, but I drop my ring finger and I slide it up. This is an alternate A minor where you drop a C. I mean, an A minor already has a C in it. That's a C, right? Those are both C's. An A minor has a C in the chord. But if you change the A to a second C instead of a second A, because this was an A, right? That's two A's. I change it instead to two C's. It's like you're just raising the A minor a bit, and it's allowing you this little bit of melody on the A string. And what else did I do? So that's the first thing I did. I'm just sliding from here. That's an A minor add 9. That's a long name for a chord. That's all I'm doing. B flat, sustain second. All that is a B flat where you don't put your middle finger down. So I start out with that and then I put it down. That's it. That subtlety adds, like I said, panache. You got style points. It sounds closer to the CD version. Here we are playing on a single 4-string acoustic instrument trying to duplicate Billy Joel's band and a piano song. You know, how do I do that? Well, try to duplicate the critical pieces, and this is part of what you hear in the intro. So that's the difference between the two. All right, now what about the verse? The chord transitions, by the way, a lot of chords in this song. The transitions are remarkably easy, including in the interlude. The interlude has lots of chord changes real fast. It's remarkable how little I have to move my fingers to make those specific changes. It makes it maybe a hard song to learn, but not a hard song to play. This is not a hard song to play, including the complex version. All right, here goes. So in the verse, this is the more complicated version, but there's not much difference. She waits for me, and now you can do it two different ways, and I played it both ways throughout the song. You can either start with your middle finger and then move over one to that G6, or if you've got your index finger on the A minor, then you just drop these two in place. They're kind of hovering over it, right? She waits for me in silence. And one more time. She gives me all her tenderness. Now here we go into a D minor. And D suspended second. All you're doing is picking up your index finger. But then you're going to drop it back down exactly where you picked it up and pick up your ring finger. So, takes away my pain. And you can leave off that G if you want, by the way. In the easier version, it just skips the D suspended second and the G, and it says, and takes away my pain. Right? That works too, but if you want the panache, and takes away my pain. And so far she hasn't run, although I swear she's had her moments. She still believes in miracles while others cry in vain. There's a stop there. Sounds better if you actually stop the music when you're gonna go. So basically when you sing, it's all about, leading to the chorus, there is no music behind you. So, others cry in vain, it's all about, so, makes it more dramatic, right? And that's in all of the verses, although the other two verses, there's a longer delay. The second verse, there are no words to say, and you hang there. It's all about, so, right? Gives you a little drama going in. Okay, the only other thing I'm going to talk about as far as chord transitions, that interlude. Again, the interlude on the simpler version is not such a big deal. The interlude on the complex version, you might have to learn how to make them all. But if you watch my fingers, you'll realize if you can do a D minor 7, you just drop your pinky right where it already is. That's a D minor 7, right? If you can do that, then you can do all of these chord changes with almost no finger movement at all. Here's how. You got your D minor 7th finger position. You're basically going to maintain that finger position. Na, na. Now for the G7, all I'm going to do, I'm going to slide one finger up and pick up another finger. That's it. Na, 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 na. And now I'm going to drop one back where I picked it up and pick up the other. Na, na, And now I'm going to do the same. I'm going to drop it right where I picked it up and pick up another, or pick up two of them. Right, so D minor 7, G7, D minor, G6. It's all about so, and D, again with the A minor. Okay, pick up everything else. I just dropped the A minor with the same finger where it was. The entire thing, all you're doing is barely lifting a finger or sliding one by one fret. That is the only movement of any fingers in the complex version of this. You can play the simpler version too if you want, but if you want to learn it, if you want to learn the complicated one, it's not hard. Hardest thing is getting the D minor 7 in the first place. Let me show you again. Dun, na, 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 na. It's all about soul. Na, 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 na. Yes, it is. And by the way, I moved my fingers more than I normally would so that you could see them move. Actually playing it. Na, 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 na. It's all about soul. Barely move them, right? Because they just hover right there and then they drop back down again. That's it. That is the entire song. The simpler version of that interlude, which is the most difficult part probably of the simpler song, but it's also not difficult. Basically, instead of a D minor 7, just use a D minor. Dun, dun. You can do the same though. You can drop a G7 like this, or you can play a G7 in your more normal way. In the simpler one, if you're more comfortable playing a G7 like this, index finger and two strong fingers down, you can do that, and then all you have to do is pick up your index finger for the G6. So that's pretty darn straightforward. It's all about soul. You notice how I'm still using the dampening, right? You could still use the dampening with this, and it'll make it sound a lot cooler. Yes, it is. All right, that's it. I am going to play through the complex version, but you can follow along with the simpler version if you want. But you can watch all my chord transitions. I'm just going to play through, I'm actually going to play through the end of the song. I'm going to play the intro, and then go right to verse 3, the chorus, C, and the interlude, because that's actually how the song goes. That way I can play all four pieces, and you'll see all of them in slow motion. So the only thing that isn't presented on the second page there is the intro, but all it is that's all it is. So I'm going to do that in slow motion, close up on my left hand, for those of you who might be interested. If you're not, then don't stick around for that. But if you like the video, please like the video. You want lots more, then subscribe to our YouTube channel. Of course, it's free. You want lots more ukulele, free downloadable ukulele song sheets, check out our meetup page and our Dropbox. Hundreds of them, and then come play with us, because that's the funnest of all. All right, now, slow motion, close up on my chord hand, my left hand, and I'm going to do intro, verse 3, chorus C, interlude. So intro and then verse 3 to the end. It's basically the second page of the song sheet. Here goes. Slow motion. 1, 2, 3, and... There are people who have lost every trace of human kindness. There are many who have fallen. There are some who still survive. As she comes to me at night, and she tells me her desires, and she gives me all the love I need to keep my faith alive. It's all about soul. It's all about joy that comes out of sorrow. It's all about soul. Who's standing now? Who's standing tomorrow? sun is the rock in that old rock and roll. But that's only part, you know in your heart, it's all about soul. Here comes the interlude. Na 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 na. It's all about soul. Na 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 na. Yes it is. Na 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 na. It's all about soul. Na 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 na. I stopped paying attention for a minute and the interlude, and I ended up doing something more complicated because I switched to like a more natural G7, but it wasn't easier. It's because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize, oh yeah, I don't have to move my fingers like that. I forgot. My mom was wondering. All right, see you Wednesday, bye.